Welcome to the second round of this AMF Invitational tournament. Here we have Martin against Morten, and I've already shown the match, but before that I would like to show you all how the decks are chosen. You can see each player having 3 decks at hand here, marked A, B and C, and they also have 3 playing cards, so they lay down a playing card of the deck that they want to ban here. So there is a mind game here. We see goblins removed from Martin here. You can see the deck. If you have any thoughts of why this was banned, please comment down below. And we also see the blue and red control deck from Morten here. Again, if you have some knowledge or if you are the player, please comment down below on your thoughts. Why did you ban this deck? Deck lists are open, so you have all the information available to you. Now back to the players here. They, as I said, have full information on what's in the opponent's deck, and now they have to choose at the same time or simultaneously which deck they are going for. So what would you choose here? We do see a deck with Engineered Plague, so Elves is a dangerous place to be, but they show at the same time, and then we see the decks here. First off, the decks that they chose not to play. First off here is Martin's Elves deck. Pretty stock list, but super powerful deck if it gets its engine online, of course. The engine can be hindered by an Engineered Plague, so or 2 or 3. So probably why he didn't choose to go with this deck. As for Morten, I would have loved to get this deck onto the camera area here. It's a Stompy list splashing red and white for Armageddon and some tax cards in the sideboards, and also some pretty nice main deck cards here. I think this deck is both very beautiful and also a little bit of a mess, but I would love to see it played. I think it could go on and win some fun games. The decks and deck lists were shown 1 to 2 days prior to the event, so they didn't have a ton of time to prepare, but most players probably have a plan against each of the opponents, since it's only an 8-person tournament here. But taking a look at the decks here, we will see Martin's Gro list. It's still called Gro-a-Tog, but there's no Psych-a-Tog in this list. So it's instead using some threshold flyers up on the top here. And if you take a closer look, you can see that he is trying to foil this deck out. The City of Brass will probably be a huge card to upgrade to foil, but a beautiful deck here. Next up is Dead Gael for Morten. Classic deck. The best deck, but with the worst mana base, since there's both double black and double white, and you have no fetches here. So you have the Coilers, and he's running 2 Tainted Lands and a City of Brass. If he can get the right lands in the right order, it could probably win him the game, but if he can't do that, it's looking tough here. But interesting match, at least, with 2 fair decks. Now back to the playing area. We see that they roll some dice here. We get a 3 roll, pretty easy to beat, with a 4. Low digits here. But what's your guess on this matchup before we get into it? Do you think Dead Gael takes it, or do you think the controlling deck test? Oh wow, what a bad hand here. Okay, so we will see a mulligan. Okay, a hand of lands and spells, and with the correct lands, as we discussed earlier. And just removing the shuffle part here, we see also lands and spells, and there's a Mox Diamond for the fixing and a Daze. Mox Diamond. Okay, there's another Mox Diamond. So there is potential here. Plain, so showing that he had a sword in hand. And now both colors. Do we see a verdict here? Yes. Great play on turn 2 here, opening up against someone who takes a mulligan, but it is dazed. 2 mana for a Dryad, which will probably be sorted right away unless he goes for a plan that takes advantage of all his mana. He does. An Arena. Good card here. Flooded Strand and another 1/1. So 2 1/1s and maybe 2 spells in hand. So now he's at 4 mana. What will he do here? A sword to the untapped Dryad. And a Shade. That's a clock. He can pump with his 3 swamps every turn. So winning the race here, for sure. Okay, Flooded Strand. Does he have a sword in hand? Yeah, there is a sword. So it's a 2/2 now. Gro-a-Tog came back quite nicely here from a mulligan. That Daze was important. Gosh, floating 2. Is he going to cast that Enforcer? Enforcer is huge here. A 3/3 for 4 mana. Protection from black. Important. Threshold. +3/+3 and flying. That's important to block the specters. So a nice main deck hate card here. But it dies to sword. And that's what we see here. So it's gone already. And a morph, whatever that could be. But he doesn't have the mana here to flip it. So he will need a white source. One more white source to flip that angel. Swings. For 2 and a Shade. Swings for 4. Takes it. So at 7 he's really hoping for that white mana to flip. Martin has his hand on his mana. So does he have a response? Okay, he got it. He got a cave, so he should be at, yeah, he takes 1 for cave. Is that a 4 or a 5? He takes 1 for cave for white mana and then he gains 4. Okay, Martin shows the gig is up. He has no way of coming back here against a lot of draw and an active angel and a Shade. So going to the next one, 104 Dead Gael. Straight into game 2. Nice game 1 with almost a comeback from the mulligan, but flooded. That's a part of Magic, and it can go that way. But what about now? We do see lands and spells from each of the players, and they keep Turn 1 Dryad. That's nice. It could be answered with a sword here, but isn't. Swamp, so also telling Martin that he doesn't have to rest. Hopped, swings for 2. And a wretch. So he is scared of that Mystic Enforcer. Which haven't left the deck, I assume. Stops everything that Gael could do, except swords. Fetching. Island. Do we gush? Yeah, we do. Floating 2. Important. This Dryad is growing pretty quickly. Now there is probably something nice on top, but you can't have everything, so do you shuffle? Yeah, you do. I have an earlier video of Martin not drawing on camera from Portland. Here he gets it, and he told me that I needed to point that out because he's getting better. A lot better, actually. Okay. Planes. Tries to destroy, counterspell right away, and grows it even bigger. A 6/6 now. Swings for 6, or swings and pumps, cycles the AK here. An important card to remove, especially now that it can't be answered with another AK on the stack. Dystopia. Dystopia is a way to kill Mystic Enforcer as well, but I guess here he has to play it down. Martin is showing lethal. If no, he doesn't have a way to hinder that, so it is sacrificed. Floats 2, gush. Important. Looking for threats here, I assume. He's not in a hurry because Dystopia requires life to be paid in upkeep, and Morton doesn't have much of that kind of resource. Doesn't pay, so it's a 1-for-1 card. And a verdict on what I assume is a full grip. I didn't spot, did he actually remember to draw from the portent? Okay, 6 life. And swings down to 15. Okay, Shade can push a lot of damage quite quickly here. Wow. Okay, Pyroclasm takes care of the board. Also a nice card against Hypnotic Spectres and Morph Creatures. So definitely a nice sideboard card to have available to you. Finding a plains. Another foil card. And Enforcer, important card, but now we do see that Dystopia is of course a part of the plan, but he destroys the Mox here, goes for the mana. Martin has 2 turns and maybe 3. No, it's 3 turns. Okay, puts down another Mox. So was sandbagging a way to put down more mana here? This doesn't look good here. Swings, Modern down to 1. Does he have it? No, he doesn't. So it's a 1-1. We will get to have a final game here. Now for the third game. I don't know what side you would choose to be on, but I do like the Dead Gael deck. I do like the mid-range part of it, but the mana is horrendous. So I think Morten is a champ for trying it out here. But two strong decks. It's a back and forth. We see a turn 1 duress, and we do see lands and spells. So and up goes, upped, gosh. Not a ton of action though. So Morten wants another card here. Another upt, and the up goes. No second land for Morten, so was probably hoping to discard something very important to stop Martin's plan. And we see the Hypnotic in hand. Is there a Dark Ritual as well? So Martin just setting up here. Yes, there is a Dark Ritual and there is a Hippie. Hippie is strong here. Important. And keeps the cards nicely separated. Chooses to keep them on top and have a fetch land. Nice combination here, where he can fetch before his turn to shuffle away some cards. He chooses to do so. Duress. So does he fire off Gosh and try to find a counter, or what's the plan here? If he finds more lands, there's nothing to discard, so floating 1 mana. That's the Portent card. No, he already drew that, so 2 cards from Duress. Shows the hand. No counters were found. Takes the Pyroclasm, of course. So finding a sideboard card there is not bad at all. 3 Duress is alright, now that he's only on 1 swamp. Talking about the mana situation of Dead Gael, this is where you don't want to be. But I'm sure there was a good starting hand there. And it's working out for him. Okay, Portent on the opponent, because you don't want him to draw any lands, and we didn't see any lands. That's cruel, man. And clears the board. The second Pyroclasm is used now. Gosh. Tries to find something to play. now that he knows that he kinda 3 times time walked him with that parsant. Island go. And Mox. There's a land. That's hella important. The verdict is countered with days though, hardcast, but Morten might get back into this game. Dryad, nice, finally finds some action. The meddling mages are probably gone in the deck if he took out the pyroclasms, so there's not a lot of threats he can actually attack with. AK for 2. Scryings for 1. Just trying to get out of this place where he can't play anything, but at least he got assaults down there. Discarding to hand size his dystopia. I mentioned several dystopias in game 2. There's only one in his sideboard, so the only dystopia, one of the few answers to the Mystic Enforcer. Duress is countered. Fetching. That shuffling looked hella sus on this sped up footage, but it is shuffled. Important on himself now. Trying to find something to attack with. And didn't shuffle, so he probably found what he wanted. Okay, a tainted land, which is already online. Greedy kind of land to include in your deck list, because on paper it looks good, but you need those swamps, and you don't have any fetches, so you need to play actual swamps. The morph is gone, and 2 life for Morten. Gosh. Finding a ton of lands. Islands and Moxen. Nice mana base. Getting rid of those City of Brass that only kills you slowly. Morph is countered. So that's 2 angels out of the way. AK for 3. And found the Dryad and another AK. Wretch. Yeah, he needs to fire off that AK. So, having half of his deck in hand, I'm sure that there are some great answers, and the Dryad gets sorted. And now back to Martin again. Dryad. Mystic Enforcer. So that AK for 4, it drew some nice stuff. And there is a threshold for sure. It doesn't even have enough mana to get rid of stuff in the yard. Vindicate on the Dryad, still facing a 6/6 flying protection from black. It's not fun, but it is what it is. If he can shrink it and have another angel, it would be good for Morten, but I'm not sure that's something that he has the resources to do right away. Removes 2 cards. Martin having 2 exile piles here. One kind of off screen and one on the battlefield almost. Spectre can't block. And Morten down to 9. But Spectre will get rid of cards in hand of Martin. Swings for 4. Okay, it got 1 card, and the sword is not a bad hit, but the way it hit was not what Morten intended. Verdict here. So does he give him life to prolong the game, or does he give him spells? He gives him life. That's 6 life. Pseudo Time Walk. And a Shade. Here comes the life dice. So Gosh here. And a Dryad. And removing the 6 life again. Removes a card. Yeah, Reg is nice, but it's a little bit late. And a grow list will always fill the graveyard pretty fast. So now Martin only has 1 exile pile. We got to see before the glare that this is a Hypnotic Spectre. Not looking good for Morten here. 2-turn clock. And Martin knows it, so maybe sandbagging some stuff. Disenchant on his own mugs to grow, and plays Pyroclasm to grow and to remove all of Morten's stuff. Wow. Yeah, disenchant your own stuff is sometimes a combo with Dryad. Removing 2 random cards doesn't matter because all the AKs are gone. Swing for 9. Morten at 2 life. Sword. Nice. But what now? Do you have something for... Yeah, okay, so there is a jump block. Next turn. Swing, block. And then nothing. So that's game. Pretty nice game. Took a long time. Didn't go into time. It was timed rounds with 50 minutes. This is sped up, as I said earlier. Okay, a ton of gas in hand. Was fearing Wrath maybe, or they are not supposed to look up deck list in the middle of the match, so ton of goodies in hand. That's it for this match, and I will see you in the next one.